I've got some Winsor Newton professional watercolor markers with me today. This is a brand new product, and I like to think of it as pushing the boundaries of traditional watercolor because we usually think of pans and we usually think of tube colors. But this is a twin tip watercolor marker. So if I take off this tip right here, I've got a very fine point so I can make fine lines. And if we go to the other side, I've got a flexible brush nib right there, so I can push down that and get a fatter, wider, brush-like mark. A lot of people who are used to markers, we think of it as a very graphic material. We can make these hard-edged lines and such. And I like that because this can shake up what we do to our watercolors. Rather than just traditional washes, we can come back in and draw over the top with different lines that can be quite expressive. And we can do a few other things as well. I'm going to take some water on my brush, and I'm going to just lay a little bit of water down right here in the middle of the page. And then I'm going to come back into my brush tip right here. Actually, that was the pointed one. Come back into my brush tip and right into that. And I can just get that water to move and flow. Again, quite expressive. When I let that dry, I can come over the top of that again. I'm going to do it while it's wet, though. And come over the top of it and make marks. Now, if I get the tip wet, and let's get it quite wet. I'm going to actually pick up a little water. If I do this, what you're going to notice is that's going to thin out the color quite a bit. But as I keep going, and I get rid of the color off of there, almost like laying down a gradual wash, you see it comes back to that same strong color. So I have different variations that I can get with that. It'll dry quite quickly on a paper. This is quite an absorbent watercolor paper. So when I make a mark, if I put that mark down here, it wants to sort of grab to the paper, which again leads to my more graphic marks. But I can come over it, and I can get some of that to move as well. So if I want to combine the beauty of traditional watercolor washes with, again, much more graphic marks to do things that are quite expressive, I can. I enjoy doing that myself. I've even got this watercolor right here, where I did a lot of traditional washes, but then over top in some of these tree areas, and here where we've got these shrubs, I've got these really strong marks and strokes that are possible with the watercolor marker. So I think it's a lot of fun to play with it that way. 36 colors, highly pigmented, light fast, just like you expect from the rest of our watercolor range, and they're intermixable with everything else. If you were using, let's say, your tube colors, and then you were working with the markers and you got a little bit of the watercolor tube marker or tube color on the marker tip, you could just wet that and get it back to normal and use that again. So it's a really fun new material. I think it lets us explore different creative options for watercolor, and you can find out more about it on our website.